Hello, hopefully you can hear me okay for the last Grant Talks Funny Bits of 2021, and what a year it has been. Let me just sort out some little things on the side here. I spent the last 10 minutes preparing and then forgot to do it. Natasha Stanley, first comment. There should be a prize for the first comment. You've won. Oh, there we go. It's all going off here. Yes, fantastic. Great to see you, Natasha. Let me just put this in the link section. Karen Louise, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Jason Nobby Morgan, I've got a treat for you, actually. Brenda Kaye. Hello, Brenda. How are you? We've got all the glamorous people here tonight, and Jason. So tonight we're going to do something different. All year I've been kind of talking about people's stories. Tonight, if you've got a positive message that you want to put out to the stage hypnosis community, then I'm going to invite you to come on. I've got a question before you start. Go on then, Jason. Let's hear your question. I dread to think what this is, but go on, Jason. You have carte blanche. Ask away. Oh, he's taking his time. He's thinking about it. Go on, Jason. Ask your question. So, whilst Jason's thinking of, oh, there we go. His questions come up. Let me just do this. How many times have you done where the person you're interviewing can't log on? Not that often, actually. I think there's been unsuccessful where they've tried to and we've given up on them. I think there's been 2 or 3. One we've yet to go back to, but that was a challenge, and it's been new technology for everybody this year. I say new technology; it's probably been around for a while. It's new technology to me and a lot of people in our industry. It's been fairly new. James Richards, evening Otter Boy. I was not the Otter Boy. Most people won't know what that is, but I will stand my ground. That was definitely not me. I think it was Jason. Richard Cole, where are you? How many feeds have you done? Otter Boy, that's proper throwing me as that. So I was looking back over the last kind of 2 years of the Grant Talks Funny Bits and the guests that we've had on. Explain. Okay, yeah, I'm sure your ribs are hurting, Jason. That's not a setup at all, is it? Jason puts on a fantastic 4x4 event, and I have had the, I say, privilege, but Jason has encouraged me to go down there and live stream the event for him, and it's been lots of fun. You remember at one point last year, my Thursday stream was from a muddy hut in the middle of Wales. That was at Jason's event. At the last event we were at, there was a portable toilet at base camp, and somebody left what it can only be called an otter. I didn't know what that was, and I was accused of it, but it definitely was not me. Jason Nomi Morgan, I can. Yes. So yeah, I was accused of being. I didn't know what an otter was as well. And someone's like, "Have you been back to base camp?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've been back to base camp." I'm like, "Oh, we thought it was you." I'm like, "What was me that left the otter?" And I'm like, "I did not leave the otter." So anyway, so tonight, if you've got a positive message that you want to share with the group, then I'm going to give you, and this is going to be dangerous. Here's the link that you can use to join us live. Is that it? That is it. That's going to come up in the comment section now. There you go. That should bring up a link in the comment section. If you want to join in the live, you can do. Here's the thing. I was looking back over the past kind of 2 years of these, and we've had some great guests on, and it's been a learning curve for me over this process about the tech, about microphones, about lighting, about studios, about all this stuff. It's been a massive learning curve, and I suppose for all of us, we've had to kind of learn different things. But I wanted to look back at the first ever Grant Talks Funny Bits. In fact, it wasn't called Grant Talks Funny Bits back then. It was just me and Jason having a chat online. And as you can see, that's back in the days when you couldn't get a haircut as well. And quite interestingly, because I knew Jason would pop on at some point, I thought, there we go. That is the original first show. Now, I don't know what Jason is doing in that picture. It does look like he's up to no good, to be fair. Yeah, he definitely looks like he's up to no good in that picture. He must have been really enjoying the show. So that was the first show that we did, and I like to think it's come on a little bit since then. I've took a bit of pride in the building of the set and the cameras and the sound and all those bits and bobs, but we still always get typical boys, yes. But you still always get some kind of technical issue, and I suppose that's the thing with it being live. I've been trying out other live streams on different platforms for other things as well, and the learning curve of when it goes live and it doesn't go the way you want it to go, it's just you've got to think on your feet. And I suppose that's what we've learned from being stage hypnotists. You know, anything can and does happen to us on stage, and it's about thinking on your feet and blagging it, which is always great fun. There we go. I don't, not after the things I've asked some people. Yeah, typical. So we've had some great guests on over the years as well. I was looking through that list of people, and there's some absolute legends in the stage hypnosis community that have shared their time, shared their story, and for me, it's been kind of humbling that these people of that caliber have been willing to come on this little show and kind of share their stories. And it's nice to see some of the comments that I get from people that, you know, watch the show after it's gone out live. They'll watch it back and they pick out that golden nugget. And for me, it's always nice to pick out that kind of little bit of information. Expect the unexpected. Absolutely. I mean, Brenda, you go through the show, you've done it hundreds, thousands of times, and then something happens that just sometimes can catch you off guard. But it's a good skill set to have through anything in life now. And Brenda, I absolutely love your World Hypnotism Day thing that you're doing on the 4th of January. That looks absolutely amazing. And I keep encouraging like hypnotherapists that are no locally, you know, you need to be out there doing something and pushing stuff out there. And I think for me, live streaming's been the thing that helps me keep my stuff going and my stuff out there as well. And it's been great fun. To speak to some of the people that have been my heroes within the industry. And I think through this live stream, some of those people have become friends, and it's enabled the world of stage hypnosis to just become a little bit kind of closer and a little bit more friendlier as well. I mean, we're all going through pretty much the same thing. All those egos that used to be part of the industry, and I'm sure will become back part of the industry, a lot of those egos have been put aside, and we're all trying to figure out what this new world's going to be like. It's been great to see. Oh, well, but do you know what I mean? It's what I'm doing is trying to just keep busy and keep my mental health in check. And so I'm trying to be productive. But again, it's what it is. We've all kind of come together over this. It's been interesting to see. It's a journey of a guy, Tony Charles, who was a guest on here, very new to stage hypnosis. And it's been nice to see the stuff that he's done as well. Oh, hang on, let's have a look. Oh, dear me. Here we go. Who's this? There we go. At least you're not doing what you were doing in that picture earlier.
Why have I got feedback?
You shouldn't have. I can't hear feedback.
Right. Hello.
There we go. And that was interesting as well, that somebody sent me this after seeing the lives, which is a Christmas present that says you're on mute. Because the amount of times that I go on live and then I'm on mute. So, Jason, how are you?
Okay, you?
I'm all right, just about. You're still in the United Kingdom. For the American people watching, Wales is like a little bit that's stuck onto the side of England that forms part of the United Kingdom. Did you like my joke I put out earlier, Jason?
Which one was that?
It was an Englishman and an Englishman and an Englishman walk into a pub.
Yeah. I was going to comment, but I was going to waste the ink on my fingers.
Yeah, it was very much in your spirit. Even though Wales is part of the United Kingdom and Scotland's part of the United Kingdom, they are governed slightly differently, and you guys are in pretty much when it comes to hospitality, everything's locked down again now, isn't it?
It sure is. Yeah. I did have a few shows planned. I was thinking of doing a couple, but it's just not worth the hassle.
Yeah.
It's not.
I mean, for me, it's weird because it's, as we were coming out of it, kind of the middle of the year,
weird.
it was looking really good. Things were getting back to some kind of normality. In fact, I think things went back too normal too quickly. In my shows, the social distancing wasn't as big as it was. I mean, I've had no incidents of it, but when this second kind of wave that's hitting, or the third wave, or whatever wave we're on now, that completely destroyed my Christmas. All corporates kind of cancelled, and I think I've got one show in January at the moment, and hopefully that will keep going, because that's a nice children's charity.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I got nothing.
Yeah. It's do you know what though? It's and this is my fear as well as not a fear. My insecurities tell me that I spent years building up a reputation, and most of my work, as you know, you can't get me on the phone. You know, most of my work is through kind of repeat business, through that word of mouth. Now it's a level playing field. No one's been doing shows as such over the last couple of years.
No,
so
I think you're wrong there. I think you still got your reputation.
Maybe with people in the industry, but there's lots of bookers now. There's lots of managers of venues that I've seen that now no longer work in hospitality. They now work selling insurance in call centers. The hospitality sector has been completely changed. So but that means I've got to stay keen and fresh in how I market. And you know, I mean, there's always someone younger, harder working, you know, willing to do it cheaper that's out there. So you've just got to keep you pushing forward.
Taking bookings for June. Wow.
Yeah. That's good. Taking bookings for June, high school grad events, and they're starting to go on the calendar. That's fantastic. I mean, Paul, what's it like? What is it like where you are? Like I say, here in England, we're on the verge of going into another lockdown. Wales, where Jason is, they're in a kind of a lockdown on hospitality. So yeah, it's interesting where different parts of the world are now and how they've all dealt with it. I think it's been like a seesaw. Sometimes we've been ahead, sometimes we've been behind. Sometimes, you know, what America was doing was the best way. Sometimes what Europe was doing was the best way. It's been all over the shop. Yeah. So tell us about the Welsh Extreme, the 4x4 thing that you've had me doing, like actual labour, where I had kind of gone from tailor-made velvet jackets to knee-deep in mud in a forest in Wales.
But he still turned up in a pair of white trainers.
And you all laughed at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it won't be the last time we laugh at you, mate.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Paul Ramsay says, we're actually seeing some companies, schools, etc., starting to do self-imposed lockdowns. Yeah, I think that's where we are. I found the general consensus for like corporate parties this year was they don't want all their staff in one place just in case they have an outbreak. A friend of mine was doing an event for a big corporation, and they stopped it completely just because they couldn't have their massive warehouse out of action. Paul Ramsay, Omicron is raging. That's a Welsh word, isn't it? Raging.
It's not good, your mind. I know one of the guys on the team with us, and he went for a PCR test yesterday, and there was 120 people behind him in the queue.
Wow. It's weird. I kind of believe that this Omicron variant is going to be what saves us from this. It's the one that's more transmissible, and this is not medical advice. It's more transmissible, but the effects of it are a lot milder. So hopefully that will kind of, I don't know, in my mind, if everybody catches that and it's not as bad, then we can go back to something. But I do think the media is going to, every year, it's going to be like we get the worst winter since records began. I think for the next few years, media outlets are going to do the whole potential new virus more deadly than this, that, and other. So it's been difficult for hospitality, and hypnotists, especially us stage hypnotists, I think have had it the hardest because our job, our shows involve people touching each other, interacting with each other, and they're not the same when they're not as interactive. So,
to be honest, I think when I eventually do go back and do my first show, it'll be like starting from scratch again.
Yeah.
It'll be completely.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what do I do?
I found myself for me, from someone that was busy with shows to then having breaks and then a burst and then breaks again, you do find the things. I mean, to one extent, it's like riding a bike. It still stays there, but then there is little bits that you miss out.
Of course, yeah. You just forget your partner, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. You kind of get out of that groove. Brenda says, I certainly can. Yeah. Natasha Stanley says, Grant. I don't know what that means.
She's probably shouting at you because in capitals as well.
Yeah. I'm always being shouted at. But yeah, it's been great, this little show, to get people to talk, to make connections. I know Natasha, she does some virtual assistant work stuff now for a couple of the hypnotists that are on the live feeds. And we've got a bit of glamour to join us now, Jason.
We're going to put a shirt on you.
There we go. Hi, Brenda. How are you?
Excellent. Hang on. Am I on? Here we go.
You are on. There you go. How are things with you?
Things are well.
Good. I mean, for you, you've kind of pushed more now towards that mindset, mindfulness, the therapy side of things. How has that been?
It's good. I started out as a hypnotherapist and I started doing stage hypnosis just to promote my practice.
Yeah.
And so I kept getting a calling that, hey, you have to go back to your roots.
Yeah.
And so, that's where I've been focusing, and learning how to do sessions online has really been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think it was possible or viable, and I was super scared of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until I started doing it. And now I love it. I really love being able to connect with people all over the world.
Yeah.
In this manner.
One of the positive things that's come out of COVID is it has made the world such a smaller place. Like you said, you can, you're not restricted to your town, your current location. You can speak to clients all over the world. But yeah, that seeing clients for the first time on Zoom. I had a client a couple of years ago, the first one on Zoom for me, and he'd set his phone on his bedside table so he could lay down and listen to the session. And literally, you could see that the phone was just sliding down and ended up just pointing at the ceiling for most of the session. And it was just like, Jesus, dear me. So it is a massive learning curve, and especially when they're not there where you can touch them and validate everything, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it does make things so much different.
Right. And it's not just learning how to do it from your end, it's coaching people how to experience it from their end. And I've had those cameras go awry and just the connection drops, and what do you do in that case? And there's so many different aspects, but much like a stage show, you're only going to know how to deal with it when it happens.
Yeah.
You can't anticipate everything that might occur. So you just go with the flow.
Oh yeah. And it's learning about that when you do something wrong and it all goes wrong, that it's going to be okay. It's nothing to panic about. I've done live feeds, and my Ethernet cable, because I always do it on Ethernet because I've realized if I'm plugged in, it's a better signal strength. But I have a mat on the floor where I'm stood here now. But if I move my feet, I've literally just unplugged the cable before now. And you're looking at the screen and you're like, why is my internet connection gone? And you're like, oh, Dear me. So every mistake, you learn from it. And I now have a mat that I put down on the floor to keep me safe. Because if it can go wrong, it will go wrong for me.
That's hilarious. Can I just share? I had a group session, and there was something that happened with the connection, but I'm doing the count up at the end. You know, everybody's hypnotized on Zoom, and I'm realizing that people aren't coming out of hypnosis. And so I did the count up like 3 times, and I'm like, what's going on? And I realized that I was on mute. No wonder they're zonked out. They can't hear me.
Brilliant. Like I say, I'm on mute that often that somebody sent me through a mug that says you're on mute. Yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, I mean, tell us about the thing you're doing on January the 4th. That looks like a really cool event. I was looking for a link to it to share, but from what I saw, you've got to kind of message you and get details. But yeah, what are you doing for that?
Well, you know, Facebook and the algorithms really don't like you to post links. And so I've had people ask for the link. So I don't know. I'm trying to navigate the algorithms. But what it is
yeah.
see what works best. But January 4th is World Hypnotism Day, and it's probably kind of like a made-up holiday just so we have an excuse to promote what we do, because we have an awesome tool, but I think more people are scared of it than they are aware of its benefits. And so it's really just a day to get out there and talk about what you do. And you can do a paid event. I'm doing a free event for people that just want to explore hypnosis, but a lot of people are joining me that have been hypnotized before. You know, I've coined this term called hypno curious for people that are curious about hypnosis, and much like me, before I got into it, I had no clue what it was, and I was offered a free opportunity to give it a try or to do it, and it changed my life. And I want to be able to offer that to other people. So January 4th, I'm doing a live Zoom event. It's at noon Mountain Time. And so if you want to sign up, I'll drop a link. But we're just doing a general, like, here's what hypnosis is, here's what it does, and here is a free guided session for relaxation, and we're going to do it live over Zoom.
Yeah. And I have been in on one of your Zooms and your sessions, and it was absolutely fantastic. So
thank you.
Highly recommend it as well. So yeah. Have you had a good Christmas? Are you ready for the new year? Are you in lockdown where you are? What's it like at the moment for hospitality?
Yeah, there's no shows. So I'm not even trying to market shows. I got booked for a talk, which was awesome, to do a corporate talk and event. So I was able to fly out to the East Coast to do that. So that was really refreshing. But there's no big stage shows, no productions. I mean, it's all just kind of weird. I know there are people out performing, but to me, it's too risky.
Yeah.
We're not in lockdown, but I don't know, to each their own. Yeah, the holidays are like, it's weird. There's just such a weird vibe, and it hasn't snowed yet here in Denver, so it doesn't even feel like Christmas.
It was really sunny here today. I mean, we're in Yorkshire in England, which is, it's always cold and wet here, but it's actually really quite warm and sunny today. And it's like, this is the week between Christmas and New Year. This should feel festive, but no, it doesn't. So, yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, fantastic. Oh, Natasha, got any? If you promote on Instagram, you can put the links in your bio, Natasha says.
Yes, and I do that, and I reference that. And cool with Instagram, there's the link sticker, so you can also post a link to like whatever website. So that's an awesome new feature that we should all be taking advantage of.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about that algorithm, because it's, you know, the way that Facebook works and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, there's so much stuff to take on board and so many different ways of getting your stuff out there. That in itself is a skill to learn. But yeah, I know Facebook does not like you to put up any link that takes you away from Facebook. So yeah, that's Mark Zuckerberg. I had a friend's just got the Oculus from Facebook because he's obsessed with the metaverse. And he thinks the future of events is going to be virtual events in the metaverse. And I'm having none of it. I'm not really into that virtual reality thing. And he's come to the office today and we've put this headset thing on. It's a wireless headset, and I'm not lying. It is from another world. It literally is like the future. And you look at that and you think, is that where events are going to go? I don't know. I'm too old for that, I think.
Oh, stop.
It's just amazing.
There's always somebody younger that's going to be able to teach you how to do it.
Yeah. True. Natasha says TikTok is fast taking over. People underestimate Pinterest too. Pinterest, and this is just my understanding of Pinterest. Pinterest is great for sending people to links. So it's great for your SEO to send them back to your website or to your YouTube channel. I've got a Pinterest, but I don't work hard at it. TikTok, I enjoy TikTok, but for me, it's vanity is TikTok. I look at and go, oh, 3,000 views. I can't monetize it. They're not sending me. I say no. I've got 2 bookings this year from TikTok, but it's not a serious marketing channel. But it's nice for ego metrics, if you know what I mean. You look at the views and you're like, I'm popular.
Yeah, there's really people getting themselves out there, right? And it's just getting in front of an audience and maybe connecting with that one person that you're going to change their life. And that's kind of awesome if you think about it from that aspect. And I'm really having fun with the reels on Instagram, which is Instagram's version of TikTok, but I can't even take on one more platform right now. So TikTok is not happening for me.
I was experimenting the other day with YouTube Shorts and a TikTok video. I put the same video pretty much on both platforms to see whether one checks on the other. And it's weird because if I put it on TikTok first, I would get more views on TikTok and not as many views on the YouTube Shorts. If I put it on YouTube first, I would get more views on the YouTube Shorts and less views on the TikTok one. So I do think that they do kind of cross-reference on some way. It might have just been a really weird coincidence. But yeah. Paul Ramsay says, I'm mentoring a young hypnotist who is doing virtual hypnosis shows on Twitch. See, Twitch is another platform that I'm not involved in, but it's a great live streaming platform for gamers that's moved forward. It is weird how different stuff starts off in one genre and then moves over into different ones. I know there is a hypnotist, I'll not say who it was, who set up an OnlyFans and was kind of promoting and doing like stage hypnosis training through OnlyFans. I don't know where that's gone for them, but that's a very particular niche. So I don't know if the people that are on there are looking to learn hypnosis. Jason would be the expert in that.
He's getting the beer giggles.
He is into bless him. He's an absolute star, is Jason. Like I say, Jason was the one that rang me when I was in a very dark moment when all my shows cancelled and told me to get my arse in gear and do this. So yeah, he's a great guy, and he does a lot of work for charity as well. You know what I mean? He's actually, I won't say this much, but he is a true friend. So bless him. We've even shared a caravan. There's not many people that actually know that I snore, but Jason does.
Yeah, there's not many people who want to put a pillow over there either.
But yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah, where Jason is at the moment, that all hospitality, all shows are completely stopped now. So yeah, it is looking like that way for a lot of places. But I do think coming out of it this time, and I've said this about 5 times now, coming out of it this time, I think it's the only way out now is out for good. So let's see, because otherwise it's the end of stage hypnosis, and I can't see that happening.
But I've had a few people contact me for therapy, and I'm a bit scared to do it. I'm not a fan of Zoom sessions because the last 2 I've done, the bloody laptop's knocked off halfway through.
Yeah. And I suppose it's adding the technology as the extra element towards it, which is it's that unfamiliar as well.
Yeah.
You know, I know since I've started these, I keep upgrading different bits, and I've got a new lens for my camera to try and make me look a bit younger.
Have we told Troy?
No.
I'll message you through now.
So, I mean, what's it looking like? I say, what's it looking like? I know it's looking quite depressing, but kind of the cruise ships, from what I understand, and I see there's one person that seems to be doing something on them. But from what I'm hearing, they're not looking at any entertainment where people are being pulled from the audience at the moment.
Right. So there, as far as Norwegian Cruise Line goes, there's no acts that are that they're booking that involve audience participation. So any interactive acts, they're not using at all. So, I mean, and I think there were some people that had the audience participation, hypnotists and other acts, that they just had to take it out.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just doing something different entirely.
Yeah.
So yeah, right now it's kind of a wait and see, and they're not even sailing to full capacity right now, and they're still having outbreaks. So it's really an unstable place to be.
Yeah, and it's weird because I think cruise ships got a bad rap when coronavirus first happened, and you know more than anybody how clean those ships were. Anyway, the stuff that we put in place because of COVID was already happening on ships. You know, the washies on each floors, all of that was already in place. But hey ho! But I know there's some really amazing deals on kind of cruise ship vacations at the moment because they're wanting to get people out there. So,
but mate of mine, he used to be. So he's now with Princess Cruises. Then he was with Norwegian and Royal Caribbean, and he's home.
Yeah,
just nothing going on. He was a cruise. What was he? Cruise director.
Wow.
Who was that?
A guy called Matt Baker.
I know Matt Baker.
Small world.
Wait. The cruise director? I love him.
Matt literally lives down the road from me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Matt done my daughter's wedding.
Oh, if you see him, tell him hi.
Missed a good time with 200 pairs of glasses.
Yes, he always had the crazy glasses. And hey, didn't he play harmonica?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's so fun. He really
good.
is fun.
Yeah, he's home.
Wow.
So did he just give up that whole world?
No, I'm looking now.
Or he just moved on to something different?
No, I just think there's nothing for him. He's back on the radio as well now, local radio station.
Yeah, he was doing some awesome things though. Like I think he was working at a resort for a long time, and he's just not a man that stays in one place.
No. Yeah, Matt's he's a very good bloke, very, very talented man.
Yeah. And it's just like musicians, you like Cher, you've just got to reinvent yourself sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be talking about adding some glamour. We've got the most glamorous here as well. There he is.
My dungeon lair.
There we go. See, we can split the screen now into glamorous with hair and glamorous without hair. Oh, yeah. You're looking really well, Paul.
I'm not bad for a guy who's I'm in treatment for cancer, man. So you wouldn't tell, right?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to beat it. You watch me.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah. Oh, it's been one great thing after another. I got fucking COVID when I was on tour in August, and that just about killed me. And then I finally got better from that. And yeah, but I'm all right. That's the big thing. So.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what? It's everywhere at the moment. And it's such a fucking horrible, sorry, my French, but it's such a horrible thing. Do you know what I mean? My best friend's son, he's only 6 and he's going through it the second time now. Oh. And it's like, it's just, but you're a fighter. You know what I mean? I'm
a lover. I'm gonna love it right out of me.
You look like a lover. You look, like I say, you look really well. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So, but I'm staying It's like I'm a teenager all over again. I'm staying with my mom and my dad. I'm in the guest room, and I go in every 3 weeks for chemo, and I go in every week for other stuff. And so I have my little guest room, and I'm learning to play the piano, and I'm still working on my business a little bit here and there. And but I'm not, I told my agent, I just said, stop booking me. And he was great about it. As soon as I said, I'm just going to focus. And I got diagnosed in August, the early August. And I went out on tour because I'd already made a commitment to the dates. And then I got COVID, and that kicked my ass for a month. And so I had to cut the tour off after 7 shows. And I lost another 8 shows, I think, 9 shows after that. I had to cut it off. And then I finally got better. And then I was feeling better. And then it had this late effect, and I went into kidney failure, and I had to go into the hospital. And but they got that turned around. They got me turned around, and then I got out, and at that point I was like, all right, enough. I called my agent. I was like, cancel everything that's left for the rest of the year. Tell them I'm sorry, but I'm just focusing on my health, and don't book me for anything else. And my treatment goes through March, maybe April. So I was like, I'll live off of what I've saved, and I'm just going to focus on getting well. And he was great. He was like, yep. He goes, tell me when you're going to go back, and we'll get you back out there. So, yeah.
I mean, it is, again, one of the things coming through the whole COVID thing is it helps you put in perspective what's important, especially as self-employed performers, all of us. We're always out there trying to get, the next gig and the next contract, and, push. And it's the effect that has on us. And coming through this, it helps you. And especially going through what you're going through, nothing kind of puts things in perspective, and makes it kind of, more real of how important our health is and something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's, we've had a long enough period off now that it's even before the health stuff. I just really was like, 18 years for me. I was like, you know what? I was like, maybe this is all something big. I was like, maybe this is enough. Like maybe 18 years of flying and rental cars and hotels. And I was like, maybe it's just time to do something different. And I've seen it. And you all know this. This is a reminder, unless there's some real new people here. But the audiences are just, well, especially for me, because, I specialize in the college market. And that audience is vastly different than it used to be.
Yeah.
Like, they just do not respond to the art form like they used to. And they're lovely people. They're beautiful, beautiful people. They are the most kind, respectful audiences I've ever had. But they're so internalized in their consumption of entertainment.
Yeah.
The stuff I used to do that would have them howling, there's just like a giggle, because mostly they're howling on the inside. They don't let it come out like they used to.
Yeah.
Their energy doesn't come out like it used to. And so you feel like you're working so much harder to get them to that point. And they come up at the end and they still say thank you, and they say they had fun, and you're like, well, then why didn't you laugh more? Like, why didn't you do more? They just you go, I am not a tablet.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's exactly it. I think audiences need to learn how to be audiences now. And they're stuck on their screens. They're stuck on their phones. Their attention span was short before. MTV brought it down. YouTube brought it down even more, and TikTok, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. If you've not got their attention, then it's just, and it's audiences are a lot harder now. Jason, I'm going to kick you off for a second, but please stay in there. But I've got Darrin Frazier here as well, so I'm going to bring him up. Hey, Darrin, how are you?
Hey, guys, how are you?
I'm all right, just about. I mean, you guys all know each other.
I know Brenda. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Darrin.
So how are things where you are, Darrin?
things are good. Let me turn off this other one because for some reason I was getting replication. No, things are good. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I was still out driving and picking up my son from basketball practice. So I created a quick studio. I was trying to get my Christmas tree in behind me, but I'm not sure if it's really showing up. I didn't have my full setup like I normally do. So
yeah, I think we've all now got these like little mini studios at home now, or in our spare room, or somewhere like that we kind of, if I'm out and about, I'll see something and go, oh, I think that's nice. That would look nice in the background now. So yeah.
Well, there's some really great backgrounds that you can get on Amazon and just hang them up, and you can look like you have a different studio every time. Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Like the one I used when I was with you before, Grant. And, I just have these things. You just hang them up in the background, set your table up. And I have this really fancy little camera that, goes in front of it. Although I didn't plug that in. I'm going directly into my laptop today. But I bought this little setup that has the camera, the microphone, and a ring light on it. And then I have one of my studio lights behind me now. That's what I had to go and grab to get set up. So, and once again, I'm the guy with the second best beard in the room. Ever since I appeared with you, Grant, I've been trying to grow a beard, and it won't quite fill in. But the second, I'm sorry, third best beard in the room. I'm sorry.
No, you got the second best beard. I can't grow a beard. This is my first time in years. I've had a goatee since I was in university, but I can't grow a beard. I can't. It's pathetically thin.
Oh no!
I'm 52, and this is the first time ever. So I can grow a goatee, but it just doesn't.
Yeah, it all wants to be at the chin for some reason. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, we can't be as distinguished as Grant. The accent doesn't hurt either, Grant.
Do you know what? I always had the little goatee thing for years, and I never grew a beard. But lockdown happened, and I thought, I'm not performing. I'm going to grow a beard out now. I cannot look at any of my old pictures where I look like I should be on some kind of register and shouldn't be allowed near children. I'm like, why on earth did nobody tell me that I look like such a weirdo with this little strap thing on my chin? It's just like, oh, dear me.
I think that's a good look with the little, I had the little, I call it the devil patch because I had it like a triangle for a while. I think that's a good look for a hypnotist because when we get the beard, it starts to remind me of the old school hypnotist. When you look at the old pictures from the 40s and 50s, and you had these guys like, with these big long beards, and they had this imposing figure. And I don't think that's really where hypnosis is these days. I think we're much friendlier, much more interactive.
Grant could bring it back, Darrin. Grant could make it all cool again. He's got the velvet coat. He can keep the beard. He can do let the hair go long, and then get the cane with the silver top and just crush it. Like just run around.
Don't forget the top hat. Don't forget Grant could walk out with the top hat as well.
There's an Australian hypnotist called Andy Venning. Andy's a great guy, but he's gone full on wizard beard. His beard is really down here, and it looks amazing. But I keep expecting him to kind of flick it behind him. It does look amazing, but he's gone full on the other way. But he's young enough to pull off a long beard. If I have a long beard, people come up to me in the street and offer to give me money to buy myself a coffee. So
if you're not working much now, just
exactly, yeah. Now I take the money off them.
Wait, I think I'm the old guy in the group here. Wow, that's embarrassing.
Oh, well, I've only sent links out to people that
Did you go by age? You went, okay, we got to get one guy over 50, so we'll send it to Darrin. I get it.
Brilliant. Between the beard and the slanty eyebrows, you are weird. I think he's talking to me there. Brilliant. Darrin, what's next for you? Are you out New Year's Eve because you DJ as well?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not out New Year's Eve, but yes, I do DJ as well. And it's really funny because I've known a lot of DJs in the past who become hypnotists to try to expand on their way. And I never wanted to do that. I love being a hypnotist. It's my passion. It's fun. But I have all the equipment, so a couple of friends were like, oh, can you DJ this? Can you DJ that? And now people keep hiring me to DJ. So that's like third or fourth down the list. Hypnosis is number one.
Yeah.
In this last couple of years, I've gotten ordained to do weddings. And that's my passion now is literally writing weddings. I'll meet with the couple. I'll meet with them together, then separately. And I write their story. And I use a little hypnotic language in there that emotes emotion during the ceremony. And so my goal is to get the groom to cry every wedding. If I don't get the groom to cry, I haven't done my job. And the funny thing is, I don't allow them to hear their ceremony until the ceremony. They have to pick the mother of the bride, the best man, the maid of honor, and that's who actually gets to read the ceremony ahead of time and tell me if I need to make any changes. Wow. So I love doing that. But my next big thing is January 15th in Discovery Bay, Byron, California. We're doing a show at a winery. It's about a 200-person capacity. It literally, tickets went on sale in November, and it's sold out in a week. Wow. And it's myself, my buddy Kabir Singh, who's a comedian that was on America's Got Talent this last season. Another guy named Dennis Gaxiola, who regularly performs with Fluffy. He just did Chase Center in San Francisco. And then a couple other guys that are comedians that are going to be there. But that literally sold out in a week and a half. So I'm excited. That'll be my first big show other than the high schools that I've done outdoors in the last few months.
So wait, though, Darrin, you can actually sell a package where you officiate and DJ and do a show. But you'd be like, I'll just take care of it. Don't worry.
You know what? I can. So I have done the officiating and DJing at a wedding, and I have done a show at a wedding reception, but I've never done all three. Not yet. But yes, I can do that package.
Don't forget to give them a voucher as well for marriage counseling a couple of years down the line as well.
I have to tell you, of all of the weddings I've performed, and in the last 3 years since I've been ordained, I think I've done about 20, 25 weddings. There was only one couple that is not together at this point, and it's a couple that I really didn't know. They were a referral of a friend who wanted me to officiate their ceremony and DJ. So other than that, I'm 19 out of 20 plus still together.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Those are good odds.
Yeah, I should go to Vegas.
Yeah, I suppose that's a good thing about what we're doing, and we kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier. As stage hypnotists, we've got such amazing skill sets that spill out into many different aspects of life, and having to think on our feet, learning how to speak publicly, develop a show, write, communicate, marketing, event management. All of these things we do have. It's a fantastic skill set that does benefit us in many different ways. But yeah, I love the fact of like doing ceremonies and marrying people. That'd be quite cool. Really cool.
It's a blast, and it happened quite by accident. I had these two friends that wanted to get married at Cupid's Arch in San Francisco, which is this artistic structure near the waterfront, but it had to be a pop-up wedding because you can't get permits to go out there and do it. So they're like, just get ordained, Universal Life Church, and do that. And then from there, someone else said, hey, I heard you perform their wedding. We want you to do ours. So then I developed this thing where I will write their story. And for some reason, I just thought that was the way to do it. And I've come to find out that most people don't do it that way. They let them give them a script to read, or they take a basic ceremony. And I'm thinking, if this is going to be that one magical day in their life, hopefully they're going to be together forever. I want to tell their story in a way, kind of like we do with hypnosis, excite the imagination. The guests who were there at the wedding, I either want them to think, oh yeah, I remember when that happened, or oh, that's why they're together. Oh, that's that one special moment. That's that time he told me about how she just lit up his life. So that's my goal, is to do that. And very similar to what we do in hypnosis, while I'm the one talking for 20 minutes, they're the stars of the show. I'm focusing all of the attention on them. So that skill set definitely crosses over. And it's amazing if we become great hypnotists, like you said, that skill set goes in so many other directions. But I think we also have to be careful to stay within our skill set and not try to do too much, which is why the DJing part, I'm okay at playing music. I'm great on the microphone. I'm great at knowing how not to take the attention away from the people who are there, the wedding party or the birthday person. And I think that's, as hypnotists, one of the skills that we learn, because while our picture is the one on the poster, and Grant, you have some great posters. Brenda, I've seen tons of your posters that I admire, your marketing and things like that. While we're the ones there, when we're doing the show, we really want to make our volunteers the stars of the show. It's about them. Yeah. And I think as long as we never forget that, people are always going to want to come back to us and hire us back.
Yes, so true, so true. And it's good to have that positive message out there. Events will come back. People will want to. The last few shows that I did before this kind of thing that we're in now, more people are coming to events, because by taking it away from them for so long, I think they're desperate to get out there and feel good. One of the and I'm not the only hypnotist or comedian that this has happened to, but I was at a show. I didn't want to do the show. It was a bar. It was for like a surprise birthday thing for somebody else, and it was one of those that I'm just like, it's not my thing. But at that time, I'm like, I need the money. I'm going to take it. I've took it. After the show, a couple's come up to me, and she said to me, she went, "That's the first time my husband has laughed in the last 5 years since our son took his own life."
Oh
And
my
for
God.
me, it was
Wow.
like, it just floored me. And I thought, you know what, at that moment where you take them away from wherever they are in their life and you can just give them a bit of joy for a few moments, that's a massive responsibility. And that really, when I was moaning about not even wanting to go to this gig because it was in a small bar and it was shit money, and it was, you stand there and you're looking at it like, why am I doing this? And that moment afterwards, I think that was some kind of, whether it's divine or whatever, it was a message to kind of say, actually, what we do does make a big difference to people.
Well, I think not only are you right about that, but we give people their own ability to realize that they have this self-empowerment inside of them. Mark Savard tells a story about how he had a girl come up on his stage one time, and it was clear there was something going on in the relationship with the guy she was sitting with near the front row. And it was like it was her permission to actually let loose. And then after the show, I guess some of the security guards at the V Theater saw them arguing. But Mark, he kind of said, I don't know exactly what was going on, but it kind of seemed like maybe it was an abusive relationship. And this was her one escape where she just performed, let go. And I had a similar thing happen at one of my shows where a girl volunteered and her husband didn't believe it was real. So he's like, yeah, go ahead. And then once she started getting hypnotized, literally he stands up in the middle of my induction and starts trying to interrupt the show. Yeah. A couple of my guys had to be like, calm down, sir, da, 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 and I gave her, these suggestions about empowering herself, making decisions that are only in her best interest, and being a strong, powerful woman. And I ended up bumping into a friend of mine later who knew her and said, yeah, that's been an abusive relationship for many years, but you actually helped her to gain some more strength, where now they're going through some counseling right now. So sometimes we think we're just entertaining, but we're really helping change people's lives. And I think we need to realize that whenever we are on stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it can be just those few words or that one sentence you dropped in just the right way at just the right time that is the switch, the catalyst to change their entire life.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. And you can not only do that on stage, you can do that on these live videos.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the live, the Zoom, the online stuff is here to stay. I think it's very much the future of, a lot of communication, a lot of personal development stuff, because it makes it easier. I saw an event with Les Brown being advertised the other day, a fantastic motivational speaker who's able to give his time away at a fraction of the cost of what he would normally have done to go to an event where there'd be 10,000 people in the audience. You can get as close as what we are now to each other, quite intimate, but for a fraction of the cost. So it enables people to really get access to the good stuff, really. Yeah. And especially the therapy side of things, the barriers that people put in front of themselves to get help. And I know this from being a male myself, and I've had a couple of health scares recently. The barriers that I put in order to go to the doctor or to go do this or go do that, if you can just have a click on your computer at a time that's safe and convenient for you, it just makes it so much easier. Yeah.
Well, I notice, at least here in the States, there's I can't remember the name of it, but there's one that's advertising now where you can basically make a call or do a Zoom call with a licensed therapist for many different things. And some people, if they feel like they're in the safety of their own home, but yet they're having this communication with someone who can offer them help or offer them advice, then I think it's definitely beneficial. It's funny to me because I often think that people who go to psychologists for many, many years, I almost wonder if they really want to resolve their problems or if they really just want someone to talk to in confidence. Because as hypnotists and hypnotherapists, we know we can help reframe whatever the initial sensitizing event was in their life and help them change that in 1, 2, or 3 sessions. But yet, a great example is Howard Stern. He's been going to a therapist for 20 years and he's still, going to a therapist 3 times a week. So I often think, I'm like, if you want to just pay me a couple $100s an hour just to listen to your problems and not divulge that to anyone else, I'll do it. Call me. Yeah. I'm here anytime.
One of the first practices I had, or a clinic, I don't know if clinic's the right word, but a friend of mine through a connection got me a therapy room in a ladies only gym. And for me, I thought I have made it in my mind. I was picturing this Eric Prydz video. It was going to be amazing. And that was not the case at all. This gym specialized in motability equipment. So motability equipment is if you're elderly and you're not moving your joints much, you sit in the gym equipment and the gym equipment moves your joints. It was an experience. Definitely not an Eric Prydz video. However,
you have an interesting fetish there, Grant.
Oh, do you know what? It's something stayed with me. But what was amazing is most of the clients that came through that were people that just needed someone anonymous where they could just offload. They could have a conversation, that there was no judgment. And the hypnosis, the therapy side of it was very much secondary to that. And so, yeah, I think there's something about telling your problems to strangers that helps shine light onto that problem. Jeff Bennick says, "Gom grannies go." Fantastic. Darrin, are you sparkling? Oh, Darrin, you are sparkling.
No, it's the topper on my Christmas tree behind me. That's what happened. Like I said, I ran home because Natasha had messaged me and I didn't have time to really set up the shot. So I said, I'm just going to grab a table, get in front of my Christmas tree. I'm sitting in this room here and, there's still some gifts under there because I've got grandkids coming by tonight to pick up the rest of the gifts. And here, let me grab something for you. My favorite. I'm a Jeff Dunham fan, so here's my
wow.
Walter. So we had a Merry effing Christmas under the Christmas tree.
Brilliant.
So much fun.
Fantastic.
You should have seen the comments I got on Facebook and some of the messages I got about that. So it was funny, actually. So I bought that when Jeff Dunham came to the Stockton area several years ago, and he was just here maybe a month ago, and I went to see it again, and one of my friends was like, "Oh, you should pick up a Walter thing because you love Walter." And I'm like, "I already have one. What makes you think I don't?" And it's hilarious because I'm trying to think of new routines to add into this upcoming show. So to go back, the last big show I did was right as the pandemic started, and I did a coronavirus routine where whenever I said the word corona, everybody in their audience held up their beer, and I had a guy hypnotized to believe he was the head of the CDC and we were all going to die. Little did we know what was going to happen. And that is the one and only time I've ever done that routine. Well, the other night, Jeff Dunham was talking about how, you had to be vaccinated to go to the show. You had to show your vaccination card, and there's 15,000 people in this arena. And some people were still wearing masks, some weren't. And he kind of did a joke. He's like, for those of you who are wearing masks under your nose, just so you know, that's like wearing a condom on your ball sack. It has no effect. And I'm like, how can I come up with something like that for my next show?
Yeah. Fantastic. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed this last couple of years. We start again kind of next week, and we'll be inviting you guys on as well, because there's so many great stories out there, and there's so many great learnings for other hypnotists and for us as people that we've kind of got between us. Hopefully you've enjoyed them and enjoyed being part of them as well. It's been absolutely fantastic. Final words, Paul.
I don't even know where to start. I really thought we'd be done with this shit by now. So now I'm like, what are we gonna do next year? I don't know. Like, you're gonna, I think the big thing I was thinking about based on what you're talking before is it's sort of like I was talking about shows, is we've seen the same stuff that the pandemic is making worse. Like the pandemic didn't really create anything new, right? It just made stuff that already existed worse. And I think if you are in our community of stage hypnotists and you're thinking about a way that you can take what you know and still have an impact on the world, maybe you can't do it with shows and the cool stuff that was being shared earlier about those kind of moments we can create with people. But I will tell you, the data before, when you look at things like the Cigna study, the healthcare company in America did a big study on loneliness. Like before the pandemic, they had already said loneliness was at epidemic levels, right? And then you take this thing that for now 2 years has made people have to be even less connected to each other. And the people that are getting hit the hardest by that statistically are 18 to 24-year-olds. So if you can help, all age groups are being affected by loneliness and feeling disconnected from other human beings. So you can help anyone, right? There's going to be someone. The Cigna study said all age groups, all genders, it's everyone, there's no one that's escaping it. But if you like 18 to 24-year-olds, they're really by far struggling the most.
Yeah.
And I talked with a colleague the other day who had a referral that just came, and when the intake was being done, it was a college student, and the college student disclosed that 9 of her friends have committed suicide since the pandemic started, which blew my, 9. Can you imagine losing 9 people you love in a 2-year span?
Yeah.
Like, so, if you want to find a way to feel like you're still making an impact, and like, again, I'm taking bookings for June, like I wrote earlier in the chat, and hoping that will all play out. We're putting them on the calendar for now, but there's stuff we can do now. We can help people now. We can love people now. So just 2022, take on some new stuff, try some new stuff, reach out to some new people, offer something new. You can do more than you think you can. And keep tuning in to Grant's show.
Gives me something to do on a Thursday.
You're doing great, man. I love it.
Oh, do you know what? It's been nice to chat tonight. This has been my favorite show. It's been really great. It's been an absolute pleasure. Guys, thank you for taking your time out for joining us tonight as well. Brenda, if you pop that link in somewhere, I know Natasha's keen to get hold of a copy of that as well. I think you got a fan there.
Yeah, she's so good. And I dropped the link to my hypnosis event on January 4th. It's in the chat. So
fantastic.
Free hypnosis.
Woo. Fantastic.
Come join me.
I'll be there.
Awesome.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year to you too. Well, let me just bring the Welsh one back on for a second. There we go. Is he paying attention? Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I'm going to send you a message in a minute. Cheers. Jason, how's
Hello.
you?
Okay.
Good. Sorry for kicking you off there for a second.
That's right.
Yeah. How are your events going on with what's happening? Do you know when you're going to be coming out of it? Will your 4x4 events still happen?
Don't know. We had a small one on 27th. Yours guess is as good as mine.
Yeah. It should be all right by then. I know when all this started, I believed it was only going to last for a couple of months.
For me, obviously, they reckon it's going to peak the end of January.
Yeah.
So I have got to give the landowner notice, 28 days out. So that's normal. That will be the second weekend in February.
Yeah.
So I might save you from a wet field in March.
Brilliant. Jason, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
That's
Thank
right.
you for giving me the kick up the arse I needed to do this as well. It's been so interesting to kind of go down that live streaming rabbit hole, cameras, internet, microphones, and all that stuff now.
But you also need to think about is who you brought together as well.
Well, it's. Do you know what? It's as self-employed entertainers, we're all out there doing our own thing, our own hustle. It's been nice to bring everyone together, and all of us share that whole. We're all going through the same shit, to be fair.
And it's mad, you look at Brenda. She knows a guy I know who's complete the other side of the world to her.
Yeah.
Who done my daughter's wedding, who lives on the road.
Exactly. What a small world.
That's mad.
Yeah. It's craziness.
But yeah, you need to take a little pat on the back as well of who you've brought together, what you've done, and the awareness as well. Because obviously there is a massive, a lot of people against stage hypnosis.
Yeah.
It's huge, especially at the very, oh God, I'm going to get shot for this, especially people who are very passionate about therapy.
Yes.
And they think that the stage hypnosis makes the therapy hypnosis a mockery.
Yeah.
And I always say to somebody who's, this, you can do that. And I always say, if I can make somebody on stage do something kind of against their will, what can I do for somebody who wants to change?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And they always look and go, I never heard of that.
Yeah. And that's what people want when they're looking for a change. They want the person that can go in there and make it happen, not plinky plonky music in the background. Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with plinky plonky music, but I think stage hypnosis, performance hypnosis, really does deliver that. Jason, thank you. I'm gonna love you and leave you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've got to create and design a new thumbnail now for 2022. I've got quite used to that purple spiral, so I'm going to try and find a different one and get that done. Guys, thank you very much for watching Grant Talks Funny Bits. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I shall see you next year.